gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and get started. I have to tell you, last Tuesday was a historic moment, and I'm looking back behind me at some of these incredible candidates, and I can tell you in my life when I look over the moments of excitement and the moments of just sheer pride, it is about electing the candidates that we did on last Tuesday. And I have to tell you, it was because of a tremendous team of people. And he is going to fuss at me afterwards, but Joel Sawyer, who was truly the best executive director that I could have ever hoped to have had. And to Wes Donahue in just a minute, and Caton's going to back me up on this, when I ran, I talked about some of the things that I was hopeful to accomplish. And one of the big pieces of that was technology. And Wes Donahue absolutely delivered on every single piece that we did. And so thank you. Kurt Pickard, who drove that sign, the spendometer, every place in the state of South Carolina, and cursed me, I'm sure, every day. And then, of course, Lindsay, who's behind us, and Sharon. And then Elizabeth Donahue and Donna Martin, two people that raised an incredible amount of money for the state of South Carolina. So it was that team internally. And then I saw Taylor Hall, who I have bragged about probably more. Taylor's back there, who did our victory operations. Taylor, you were the surprise. Every campaign has a surprise, but you were my surprise. You executed flawlessly. Absolutely flawlessly. And then, you know, for me, frankly, my home front had to stay solid. And from my business standpoint, my partner, Angel Cox, who held together 3 businesses during 2 years when I was completely and totally absent. Angel, I thank you. And then first and foremost, Gordon Floyd and 2 twin 14-year-olds that have been absent a mother literally for 2 years. So this is an exciting time. It is exciting because of the accomplishments that we've made. It is exciting because the future is so doggone bright. And so really today is a celebration. It is a time for me to thank this incredibly great team of people. And Henry McMaster made me laugh for the last 2 years, and I have loved traveling with him. But he always has a quote, you know, the most recent one when he was there introducing your next governor and said, "Where there is breath, there is hope," and recited the Greek phrase. Well, mine's much more simple. It is, there's a time to hold them and a time to fold them. And ladies and gentlemen, it's my time to pass the baton. And so my point in being here today is really to say it was an absolute, total privilege to serve as the 16th chairman of the South Carolina Republican Party, following in the steps of someone whose shoes I could never fill, Caton Dawson, who recruited me to this and who I cursed probably half the time. And then who I love the other half the time, who is Edie said it. She said, "You rode on the shoulders of giants," and that was Caton Dawson, and then our Attorney General, Henry McMaster. So it was an incredible privilege. Now I'm going to let you hear from a few folks. In the press release that Joel so adeptly put together, he did something that I'm never really that good at, which is quoting all the great feats of what we actually accomplished. And I can tell you, and again, Caton was there, and Edie and Lou, and this whole crowd here, all of my chairmen can tell you, when I ran, I talked singularly about electing Republicans, and we talked about winning the 5th congressional district, which we did. And we talked about winning the superintendent's race, which we did. And we talked about winning all the constitutional offices, which we did. And we talked about increasing the margin of wins totally, which we did. We talked about technology, having a state-of-the-art technology that had an absentee component that was by far better than what we'd seen in the United States of America, which we did. And so the day of the election, it was just time. And I will tell you, I grew up, my father is a petroleum engineer and a geologist, but he is very esoteric. And one of his favorite poems is by A.E. Housman, and it's a little esoteric is the best term, but it's called, I think, An Athlete Dying Young. And there's this one stanza in it, and it was in Out of Africa. Do you know what I'm getting ready to quote? Yeah. It says, "Now you will not swell the rout of lads that wore their honors out, runners who fame ran out, and the name died before the man." And the point is there's a time to leave. And this is my time, and I'm excited about all of the things that are to come in the great state of South Carolina. And it's now my honor and privilege to turn it over to the fellow that brought me to the dance, none other than Caton Dawson. Caton.
Again, thank you all for being here. I know being short gets you the award at all these events, and it's a pleasure to be up here at a real fun occasion. Solemn because Karen Floyd and her team, Joel Sawyer, what a tremendous job you did for the Republican Party in the last 2 years in a very bad climate. And our success, 9 constitutional officers, increasing the majority to 75, soon to be 76 with the special that Karen will win with us. Again, Karen's not leaving today.
Nope, six months.
Karen's got reorganization to do. Her staff realizes that, and so Karen is serving her term out. And again, a lot of hard work left and a lot of thankless work, but again, to the employees of the Republican Party, the ones who have been in the trenches that don't get thanked, from the bottom of mine, Henry, and everybody's heart that has done this all our lives, we thank you. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you the person who will occupy the right wing over here, the next governor of the state of South Carolina, Nikki Haley.
Thank you. Thank you. And while I can tell you we are working feverishly, when I heard this was happening today, there is no place that I would be than right here. Because I know what Karen has been through, and I know the challenges that she has gone through. And what you hear sitting in an office are the people that are shooting at you. You hear the things that you do wrong. You hear the things that people think they could do better, and you hear all of the faults that they think that they would have done different if they were in their shoes. What I want you to remember today is we have 9 Republican constitutional officers because of Karen Floyd. We no longer have the number 2 finance guy under President Obama because of Karen Floyd. We will have the biggest majority in the House because of Karen Floyd. And through all of it, she did it with strength, she did it with grace, she did it with a smile. And so, Karen, for all of those things that are sitting in your head, I want you to forget about them. Because what we will all remember, what stands true with the people like Henry McMaster and Caton Dawson and Karen Floyd, is we will have always a fond memory of the fact that you ran a very successful chairmanship, and I thank you.
Thank you.
And because I don't want to take a lot of time, what I want people to know is when I called her, she was there. When I called her, she was there. When I needed her, she was there. She never said no. She said, how do we get this done? And when you want to talk about a true strength in a chairman, that's what an elected candidate needs. That's what an elected official wants. You will be missed, but you will be cherished always. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next honoree and person to speak will be our next Lieutenant Governor of the state of South Carolina, Ken Ard.
I've always considered myself an outsider, hence no tie. I didn't get the memo that we were having a meeting here. I'm here, as Governor-elect says, we're trying to put a transition team together. Folks, I mean this sincerely. The greatness of this party in this state is not in these folks back here. They are a great part of that. Karen Floyd, Caton Dawson, Henry. I mean, so many people have been kind to me. But the reality is, it is in you folks. It is in the grassroots people, the people that give of their time, their money, their energy as they put out yard signs. I'm almost embarrassed to go to a Clemson game and 2 teenagers standing on an overpass with a Ken Ard for Lieutenant Governor sign. But that's politics. And in politics, you have winners and you have losers. And we had a big day last Tuesday. But it's time to govern. It's time to put the internal squabbles and the disagreements on the back shelf, and let's move South Carolina forward. I look forward to working with our new chairman, whoever he or she may be, and they have very high standards to uphold because Karen and Caton has set a bar that is tremendously high, but the future is bright for South Carolina. I sincerely believe that. I am optimistic to be a part of that, and I just want to, just from the bottom of my heart, to those folks that were kind to me, and a few of those folks that weren't so kind to me, thank you. I mean that sincerely, and I will serve with pride, passion, and integrity. Thank you very much.
The next is, can we have our current Attorney General, the next Attorney General of the state of South Carolina, Alan Wilson.
Well, first off, I'll tell you how important a state party chairman or a former state party chairman is when you're coming to a press conference like this. I was coming to just stand behind you and show support. And, of course, Caton said, stand over here. You're speaking third. Come up with something to say. So I don't know if I have anything brilliant to say in the last 2 minutes that I've been going over my head, but I wanted to stand up here and say how much I really appreciated Karen and the folks in the party and all of you standing behind us who played a role in giving us our Republican sweep. You know, over the last year, an expression came out in political lexicon as a mama grizzly. As a candidate, it was always nice to know there was a mama grizzly back in the cave to get your back, and I'm looking forward to having a mama grizzly over there to get my back when I'm sworn in as Attorney General in a couple of months. My uncle told me a story recently, and I'm saying this for all of these folks standing behind me and the people that are listening. Republicans swept here last week, and this is something I'm very honored to be part of such a great team. But my uncle was telling me a story he heard once where a Congressional Medal of Honor winner who had won the medal was talking to a reporter, and he was asking about how winning the medal changed his life. He said, winning the medal was the easy part. Wearing the medal was the hard part. And I feel that's kind of what we are. We have won an awesome trust with the people of South Carolina. I have no doubt in my mind that the people standing behind me and those out there are going to deliver. I thank you for this opportunity, and Karen, I have really enjoyed being part of your team, and I look forward to supporting the rest of your agenda in the next 6 months. And if you ever need something, call me.
I will. Thank you.
It is special to be able to introduce this next gentleman because there are about 3 of us here that understand this. Karen did 2 years of in the field work, and Karen, it was hard, and we will always be in a special group. Henry McMaster and I grew up 4 houses apart from each other, and we're head of the Republican Party for 17 years together. And Henry, like me, we don't know how we did it that long. But we also grew up in a